Okay, Honors Algebra 1, welcome back. A good week and a half off. We're just going to pick up where we left off, which was converting between quadratic forms. Okay, so before spring break on Friday, we did factored form to standard form, and we did vertex form to standard form. Okay, so now we're going to do two more today. Okay. So first one we're going to do, which is the third one total, is we're going to go standard to vertex form. Alright, so standard to vertex. There's actually two ways to do this. I'm just going to show one today. The other way is a little, we're going to talk about it a little more later. Alright, but if you're going from standard form to vertex form, okay, it's simple. If you want to go in vertex form, you have to know what the vertex is. Okay. So that's basically the only step to this problem. Find the vertex, and then identify what A is as well. Because remember, that A value is going to stay the same between all three forms. Right. So we know how to find the vertex from standard form, and we should be able to identify the A value right away. And then you'll just plug it in, because once you know the vertex, you know that H value and you know that K value that you need to have in vertex form. All right, so let's do an example. Let's start in standard form. We're going to start with, let's say we have f of x equals 2x squared minus 4x minus 30. Okay. Now, one thing you might notice in this is that there is a GCF in here. We don't need to deal with the GCF. We're not factoring. We're just trying to find the vertex and go into vertex form. So you might want to start by identifying A, B, and C. Remember, standard form is ax squared plus bx plus c. So the A value is always in front of x squared, B value is always in front of x, negative 4, and the C value is always at the end. Now again, it doesn't ask for this, but you know, whenever you're in standard form, just try and run through your head, what do I know from standard form? I know the y-intercept. The y-intercept is going to be negative 30. We could also find the vertex. There's a formula to find the vertex, and the vertex is what we ultimately need to go to vertex form. All right, so let's start by finding the vertex. Remember, the formula to find the vertex starts with finding the axis of symmetry. And the formula for that was the opposite of b over 2a. All right, so again, we'll start with the axis of symmetry, which is always equal to the opposite of b over 2a, or negative b over 2a. Okay. Well, b is negative 4, so the opposite of negative 4 is positive 4. 2 times a is 2, so 2 times 2 gives us 4 over 4, which is 1. Okay. So our axis of symmetry is x equals 1. Okay. But also remember what that is. In vertex form, that is your h value. Okay. All right, so now we have to find the y value of the vertex. Y value of the vertex is always found by plugging in the x value. So we're going to find f of 1 instead of f of x. So wherever we see x, we're going to plug in 1. So 2 times 1 squared minus 4 times 1 minus 30. Okay. That's 2 minus 4 minus 30, which is negative 32. Okay. That's the y value of the vertex, but again, in vertex form, it's represented by k. All right, and then the last step is to identify what A is. A we already did in the first step. Okay, you're not doing any extra work here. You're just identifying A. Okay, and again, like we already wrote out, A equals 2. All right, so now you just put it all together. Write it in vertex form. Vertex form. Again, you're going to have to memorize all of these forms. is A times x minus h squared plus k. Okay. Plug in the pieces that we know. We know A is 2. We know h is 1. So x minus h, x minus 1 squared plus k. K is negative 32, so it'd be plus negative 32 or just minus 32. Now again, remember in vertex form, the vertex is always the opposite of the inside number. So we see minus 1, but we know the vertex is at positive 1. And then it is the last number. We see negative 32. Then the y value is negative 32. Okay. All right, so that's vertex form. Let's do one more. Going from standard to vertex. Let's say f of x equals negative 1/2 x squared minus 4x plus 6. Okay. Again, we know what A is. A is 1/2. It's right there. A is negative 1/2. Okay. We need to find the axis of symmetry, which is going to be our h value. And then we're going to have to find the k value, which will be the y value of the vertex. Okay. So we'll start with the axis of symmetry, the opposite of b over 2a. Okay. Well, again, b is negative 4 again. Okay. So the opposite of negative 4 is positive 4 over 2 times negative 1/2. Okay. That's 4 over negative 1. So our axis of symmetry is negative 4. So negative 4 is our h value. So now let's find our k value. Okay. Our k value is going to be found by plugging in that negative 4. We're going to find f of negative 4. Wherever you see x, plug in negative 4. Negative 1/2 times negative 4 squared minus 4 times negative 4 plus 6. Okay. That's going to be 16, negative 8 plus 16 plus 6 is 14. And again, that is our k value. So we know A, we know H, we know K, which means we know vertex form. Plug in the A out front. Again, that A value doesn't change between any of the forms. X minus H. Now H is negative, so X minus negative 4 squared. But again, instead of writing minus and negative, we'll just write plus. And then plus K, 14 is K, so plus 14. All right, so that is standard form to vertex form. Now, the last one we're going to do today is we're going to go factored form to vertex form. All right, as you could probably guess, to go from factored form to vertex form, you're going to have to find the vertex and identify A. So exact same thing. If you need to be in vertex form, you have to know what the vertex is. And once again, you need to know the A value. All right, so let's do one. let's say we have the vertex form, or the factored form equation, f of x equals x minus 10 times x minus 6. All right, so now we're in factored form, so the opposite of b over 2a doesn't help us. Okay. But remember, factored form had its own way to find the vertex. You could basically start by finding the x-intercepts. Okay. The x-intercepts, or your p and your q value, it's always going to be the opposite of these factors. Okay, so your x-intercepts are going to be positive 10 and positive 6. Now, once you know the x-intercepts, you could find the axis of symmetry. Because remember, the axis of symmetry has to be halfway between those two x-intercepts. So what we do is we just add them together and divide by 2. Okay, 10 plus 6 is 16, divided by 2 is 8. So that's our axis of symmetry, which again is always our h value. All right, so now find your k value. To find the k value, we plug it in. We plug in the axis of symmetry. So we're going to find f of 8, which will be 8 minus 10 times 8 minus 6, which is negative 2 times positive 2, which is negative 4. That's your k value. All right, so what's the a value then? The a value is always the number in front. Now, in this case, there's not a number in front, but that doesn't mean it's 0. It means it's 1. So your a value is 1. Okay, again, it's an implied 1 that's out in front. All right, so we know a, we know h, and we know k, which means we know vertex form. Plug in the a in front, so it's a 1. We don't need it. X minus h, x minus 8 squared, plus k, so plus negative 4, or just minus 4. Okay. Vertex form. We'll do one more. Say we have f of x equals negative 2 times x plus 18 and x minus 6. Okay. All right, so again, start by finding the x-intercepts. Okay. Then find the axis of symmetry. Then find f of whatever that axis of symmetry is. And then identify a. Okay. So those are the 4 steps. Now again, remember the axis of symmetry is going to be your h value. F of whatever is going to be your k value. And then a is obviously a. Alright, so the x-intercepts. X plus 18, so one x-intercept is going to be negative 18. X minus 6, so the other x-intercept is going to be positive 6. Axis of symmetry. Add those together, divide by 2. Negative 18 plus 6 divided by 2 is negative 6. Plug in negative 6 into the function. Negative 2 times negative 6 plus 18 times negative 6 minus 6. That's going to be a big number. It's 12, 288. And then the a value is always in front, which is negative 2. Okay. Now again, these are the pieces we need. We need the h, we need the k, and we need the a. Okay. put it all together. Y equals, or f of x equals, I use them interchangeably, -2 times x minus h. Now again, minus -6 is plus 6 squared plus 288. All right, so not much new here. If you need to write your quadratic in vertex form, you must find the vertex. Okay, it's as easy as that. All right, have a great day. Check Google Classrooms for the worksheet, and we'll see you tomorrow.